Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, gold and silver are back on the rise today. Gold is nearing $34.50-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood. And silver's up above $33 an ounce. And this is all in relation to the US dollar. You know, as the tariffs start to be felt a little bit more, and we're not quite there where the average American is feeling it all the time, with the exception of a few things. Over the next 2 to 3 weeks, most likely that's going to happen. And so as that's felt more, it's going to cause a little bit more shock. There's been several notable people stating that the US dollar is not solid. Even Warren Buffett, both the Treasury and the Federal Reserve has said recently that the debt in the United States is unsustainable. The Treasury Secretary said that, oh no, the dollar will never, will never go under. Well, the United States will never, collapse financially. We'll just keep raising the debt ceiling, print more money. It was pretty much the answer. So those types of comments certainly are not instilling faith in the current U.S. system. So they're starting to show more weak signs. I know we went through a little period there for a week or so that the stock market went up and everything's, well, it's kind of, I think the reality is starting to settle in a little bit more. So we're starting to see that. But I think the big news today is that another new war has started. Now, to be honest, this war has been going on for a long time. I mean, generations. And I'm speaking of India and Pakistan. There has been conflict, border skirmishes, and things like that going on for an extended period of time. But in the last few months, and especially the last few weeks, that has dramatically increased, and there has been repeated threats back and forth between India and Pakistan that each other is going to attack each other. And today it happened. India started it by launching some ballistic missiles into Pakistan, striking numerous targets, and shortly thereafter Pakistan has retaliated, and they've shot down some Indian military planes, their fighter jets. They have also done some bombing. I think they've struck some military barracks. Several cities on both sides have been attacked and bombed. And it's possible that this kind of fizzles out. It may be something like what we've seen recently between Iran and Israel, but it doesn't have that feel. And based on the history between these two nations, I don't think it's just going to overnight go away. It may. It's hard to say. But I think that this is going to be get set in a little bit longer than that. And we could see a conflict that could last, for a decent amount of time. Remember that both Pakistan and India are nuclear capable countries. They both have approximately the same amount of nukes. I mean, are they functional? Can they deliver them? That's all debatable. But about 170 each, roughly, is what is believed. That's significant. I mean, there's always been this worry whether the United States or Russia, maybe Israel, would use a nuke. I wouldn't put it past either of these countries of using a nuke on the other, especially Pakistan. India seems to have the bigger military. If India really starts hitting Pakistan heavy-handed and they feel that they're really threatened, I wouldn't put it past them to use a nuke. And it may not be a large nuke, but still, I think the global reaction to a nuclear weapon being detonated in a war-like manner, I think would be pretty shocking. And not even talking about any retaliation from any other country. I think just the people. I've talked about this quite a bit lately. The other day I was talking about race and culture and class wars and just the overall tension. I've talked recently about kind of the mental instability of the world today, especially in Western world. How it's just, this the chemicals and the food, the water, the air, the ridiculous education, the indoctrination of all these woke ideologies, the pharmaceuticals galore. It's taken its toll on society. And so we're a weak society, we're a mentally ill, mentally unstable, emotionally unstable society. And we're dealing with economic problems, tariffs, increased prices, conflicts everywhere. And even if a nuke isn't hitting the United States, or really even any of our assets or anything, just the fact that a nuke could potentially be detonated, I think would have pretty worldwide ripples, right? So I think a lot of people in the West may be looking at this right now and saying, well, this is unfortunate. You know, another war happening. Does it really affect us here in the United States? Not directly, no. Will the United States get involved in this one? Probably not, at least directly. I mean, our banks will be funding both sides of it. They always are. But I think the big thing is how, to what extent will this war happen? And again, if it does go nuclear, that could be a big deal. You also have to remember that China, well, they're not doing so well in their relations with India. They've had all kinds of border skirmishes too. Will China get involved in this? Basically the Russia, China, Iran little pact has already said that, well, Pakistan is more within its rights to defend itself. Israel has already come out supporting India. So even though it's weird because India is also part of BRICS, who knows? But already a localized regional conflict is already starting to have global touches, where other countries that have already decided which side that they're on have already come out and supported or not on this. And so I don't think it's something to just quickly, okay, it's another war, big deal. I think it can potentially be a big deal. And we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, at this point, it's just started. I mean, it's just been in the last few hours. And remember what I always tell you, when anything big happens, whether it's a war or some major event, whether it's natural or man-made, it doesn't matter. What I've noticed online today, one of the things with the internet is that you get information instantly versus 20, 30 years ago, you had to sit around and wait for the evening news, or you had to wait for the morning paper, right? Now it's just bombardment, instant. Well, the problem with that is it's a lot of incorrect fake news, purposely fake news, accidentally fake news, people that don't know what they're doing. They just see a video or they see a post and then they say something, and then all of a sudden the next thing you know, it's being picked up by news sources and they don't really know where it originated from, and now everyone believes that this is fact when it's complete fiction. And so for usually the first few hours, even the first few days of a new type of event that's happened, you have to be a little cautious because a lot of times it's just incorrect information. And you can trace this back to COVID. You can go to remember the train derailment in Ohio, hurricanes and floods, conflict between Russia and Ukraine, and Iran and Israel. We can clearly see that in the first few hours of something, a lot of the information is not correct. So it's really hard to pinpoint what exactly is going on. But it does look like that there is missiles, rockets, bombs, and artillery between two sides going back and forth, striking different targets. I mean, that seems to be pretty certain. How big it is, how long it will last, still remains uncertain. But like I said, this could have big ripples worldwide. And it's another reason why you should stay prepared, because again, our society, and I've said this before, is as much of all these things, between Iran and Russia and China and tariffs and war and blah, 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 all this stuff going on. The real big threat are the people around us. because the average person is so plugged into the matrix, they're so brainwashed, they're so out of touch with what's really going on in the world, and they're stressed, their emotional status is weakened, their ability to survive is just not there. And if something bad was to happen, to knock that off, to knock them off kilter, their reaction could be very catastrophic. And so you need to be prepared for that. I mean, a simple nuke detonated on the other side of the planet could cause bank runs here. I mean, you just don't know. And so that's why we always need to stay prepared. You need to be just ready and have a plan in place. And when you have the time, periodically review that plan, reenact that plan, get yourself trained, know what you're supposed to do. Because events like this morning, most people didn't think it was going to happen. There's been threats for the last few weeks that any day now, war would happen between Pakistan and India. And guess what? By this afternoon, it's really happening. So get yourselves ready. Stay ready. That's the thing now. It's not just have a plan and that's it, but keep in a state of readiness, because the world is just that kind of place right now. Get your houses in order. Prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.